Welcome back, everybody. Game number 5 of Digital Chaos versus Complexity. Honestly, after that game number 2, I did not think in my wildest dreams I would be saying those exact words. But here we are. Who's going to be taking that slot? Blitz
I don't
Dota?
know.
I have you back. We're in Dota TV. Rob and Brian have fixed everything.
Fantastic. Just in time for the end of all the qualifiers.
Yep.
Is this the last game of all the qualifiers?
No. There's still China and Southeast Asia.
I thought C was done.
Was it? Maybe China's still going on?
I'm pretty sure C's done. China sounds more likely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Cole
just know
versus
we're not
DC.
last.
This I'm not gonna lie. This series looked like it was gonna be really boring.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, oh, 3-0. Okay. They're gonna Suns fan their way into TI. It was gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, Complexity outdrafts them completely 180s and drifts from what they were doing the first two games.
I'm sorry. Whoa. Can we rewind the footage there? What was that?
What?
Complexity outdrafted Digital Chaos?
Dude, game 4, did you see how close it was? It was not that bad. It was more, I think their draft was just more forgiving. Like, Terrorblade drafts are so hard to handle.
All right.
Come on, man. DC
Listen,
almost won that game.
Listen, I'm just happy that I wasn't totally wrong when I had to solo draft analysis while dealing with tech issues at the same time. And you came back and I was like, all right, so Complexity good draft. You're like, no, DC have won. I was like, oh man.
I'm not gonna lie with you. I was trying to fix everything, so I wasn't even watching everything because I thought it was from my end. I was trying to frantically contact you on like every social media platform. So I just figured that if I disagreed with you, no matter what you said, it would more likely be correct.
Wow. Complete 180 from Blitz Dota. Oh yeah, Cap's a decent player sometimes. I just let him,
This is
yeah. Right.
At least one of us was right here.
Now
no
I know
what
what you truly think of me.
Yeah.
All right, draft time. Beastmaster, Invoker Winter Wyvern, sponsoring Complexity Gaming and Digital Chaos get themselves the Phoenix. The Phoenix who has had a 0% win rate in this series so far, I think.
That can't be true. I refuse to believe that.
Didn't Complexity pick it up in Game 2 and they lost, and that's all we've seen from Phoenix?
That is true. That did happen.
Yeah. So I'm right. 0% win rate in this series. Complexity of 1.
0 for 1?
No, I gotta say 0%. Blitz Dota. This is how stats work. They're misleading.
10 seconds remaining.
That's how. I like my stats.
5 seconds remaining.
Second round of bans, Drone Ranger and Terrorblade. Digital Chaos. They made that mistake once against Complexity. They let the Terrorblade out, and now they're here in game number 5, which they thought was going to be an easy way into the 16 teams of the International. And now they may be looking at a wild card series they have to play before that. The Lone Druid and the Timbersaw are both going to get banned by Complexity, and Complexity will pick up the Wisp in their hands. First time we've seen the Wisp.
10 seconds.
It is a very good hero for Complexity, just because of how, I mean, they just like this hero in general, right? They've always been like the Wisp Tiny team, the Wisp whatever team. Now they've got options. I don't think...
I mean, surely they go Wisp Tiny, right? Game 5 in a big series like this, they go with what they know.
This is a very big series. Those second place teams, it's so far, who is it? It's Execration from Europe. It's No Escape, or Escape Gaming. I don't think it's No Escape. I think it's just
Escape Gaming,
right? Yeah. Escape Gaming, and whoever is from China who will also be scary. Some Vici. I think all those teams are going to be annoying to play against because those are all good teams. So why even risk it? Just win out here. That's all you have to do.
Well, pretty simply said from a man who couldn't beat Korea at their lowest point.
What? That's exactly when we beat them. What are you talking about? We couldn't beat them when they were good. That's not even a good insult.
What? Okay, that turned against you real quickly.
What are you talking about?
I remember casting those last games of Zephyr when you guys were in Korea.
They were really good, dude. They got like
Seconds
they
remaining.
beat VP in 20 minutes in the wild card. What are you talking about? The only time we lost to them was when they got really good.
They got lucky. It's a Wiz Tiny for complexity. No surprise, Digital Chaos. I'm sure they knew. Maybe that's why they picked up the Faceless Void.
Man, that wasn't even a good. I'm disappointed.
I
That was
have
bad
to deal
banter.
with so much shit here, Blitz. Don't make me lose it, all right?
All right, Toby.
Come on, dude. Don't sink that low.
All right, Owen.
All right, that's better. Thank you. I will take that insult.
10 seconds.
Of course you will. Is that an insult, dude? I'm pretty sure that's a compliment to call capitalist Owen.
5 seconds remaining.
Shut up, dude. You're paired with me. You shouldn't
I
nag your
regret that
caster
decision
that you're
every
paired
day.
with. Yeah, we're stuck, by the way. We're stuck for TI. Yeah, you probably wish you were Draskell right now, but you know what? Doesn't matter. You
Me
and me are
Draskell both
locked
rolled
in.
the dice. He rolled a 7. I rolled like a 2.
7 is craps, man. 7 is bad.
No, 7 is a higher number than 2 though.
Team banned.
All right, Death Prophet. This team fight from DC is insane. Phoenix, I think Phoenix Void is a very, very good combo. It was the combo that won OG this most recent major against Liquid. They did it like 3 times in a row.
10 seconds
Even
remaining.
as Radiant, it's very easy to fight Roshan because you have the Beastmaster, Hawk for
5
Vision.
seconds
Mhm.
remaining.
You can set up fights on the high ground with Phoenix with his egg, and if you try to target the egg, then Void will just chrono his Phoenix. He doesn't care.
Yep. Complexity and maybe their signature combo, but will it be enough? The Tiny is going to have to go pretty big here. If he can get a faster Blink Dagger, jump on the Death Prophet, he's not just got his magical combination, but he's also got the Sunstrike over the top. They've got the Winter Wyvern with the Winter's Curse to maybe help focus a hero down. But it's all very execution and initiation based for Complexity. I really feeling DC's draft right now. Seems you are too.
I really like DC's draft, yeah. I mean, this just screams OG to me more than anything. Maybe with the exception of this Death Prophet. That's like a little bit of flair to it, but at the same time, I think their draft is a little bit high execution. Like they really have to hit their spells, their combos have to be intact. This is going to be a teamwork win more than anything if they win this game.
Batrider going to be banned away by DC. They figure there needs to be another initiator from Complexity. There's not many left for that offlane position. Meanwhile, the Clinks is taken out of the pool by Cole. They think this is actually an offlane Void and a 4-position Beastmaster. But instead it's going to be a safe lane farming Void, and they'll get the Lion to couple with the Phoenix. This draft, I don't care who I'm watching. I will always follow this draft right here. I love it. I love Flying Phoenix. Maybe that's part of the reason why. But Faces Void, Death Prophet, that duo feels like a match made in heaven. And then they've just got the element of greed with the off-lane Beastmaster that can go jungle immediately.
Reserve time.
Complexity, what ties this together? They need the
Hunter?
Swindles hero. Tide's not
It's
great
not even that
against
good. Yeah.
Faceless Void. And Phoenix just kind of does the whoom, and kills everything.
You mean that?
I don't know. I don't play with game sounds. I don't know. Maybe you do an MVP style dual offlane and pick a Bristleback.
When
Is there
safe
is there
lane
even
Tiny or
heroes?
something?
Batrider got banned.
There's the offlaners left. Axe, Tide, Doom.
I think it's gonna be Doom.
Yeah, I think Doom's
Doom
probably
sounds
the best,
okay.
right?
That's really greedy though, and that's kind of greedy. But I think Swindles comfort-wise would go for the Tide or the Doom. I think Tide's worse, but he's more comfortable with it. It's awkward.
Brood Mother.
I don't know if I've seen Swindles play Brood.
I don't think so either.
That's the thing is, it's
Offlane Enigma.
oh, that sounds okay. It's gonna be the Axe.
All right, that's a poor man's Enigma. I'm half right.
Yeah, Call's pretty much Black Hole.
Yeah. Why Axe?
You needed some sort of a hard lockdown. We talked about the reason why I was okay with Doom is just because it is a very good spell against the Void. You need something that will lock him down during, so you can't just time walk out. And I think it's a Swindle's hero for the most part. But I sort of think I favor Digital Chaos's draft, or at least I like it more.
Yeah, I think you and me both, friend.
Prepare.
All right. Game number 5. Gonna have an early smoke out, aggressive wards. We'll watch it all while we go over predictions. Blitz Dota, total number of player deaths by 25 minutes.
Wow, dude, they're being so good mannered in this
I
chat
know.
right now.
Win or
Win or
lose,
lose,
it's been a pleasure.
Resolution response 5-game hype, and he says, "Yeah, great games, guy." Wow, they're all being so nice.
This is not
What's
the
going on?
it's the Euros. It must be the
really
Euro
the circle
influence. This
jerk?
is not the NA Dota I grew up with.
There Mugo's the one NA player.
Yeah.
I hope we win. You guys suck.
All right. You want my predictions?
Yeah, let's go.
Total
Let's
number
do
of player deaths 25 minutes by 25. You got to go fast. You got to go fast.
A lot. The middle amount.
26 to 35. Player with the most kills at 10.
Invoker.
All right. How long will the game be?
No,
Thir-
tiny.
30 to 37?
30 to 30. No, longer than that.
37 to 44.
37 to 44. Yeah.
All right. 5 seconds left. Player who places the most observer wards by 15 minutes.
Wyvern.
The battle
Wyvern.
All right.
begins.
Z-Freak it is. All right. There we are. We're locked in, boys and girls. It's for all the marbles. It is game 5 after all. Complexity. They're going to be leading things off. What better way to start this series than cover who's playing what? We've got Hanskin. Classic. Wisp coupled with Limp Tiny. We have Swindles on his axe, trying to abuse the jungle with the classic Winter Wyvern duo. We saw this at Epicenter. It took everyone by surprise. It jungles incredibly quickly, even faster than regular axe. And then we have a safe lane farming Chessie Invoker. Matched up against Digital Chaos, we've got Weehaw on the Death Prophet at mid. Move's going to be farming away on Beastmaster as the offlaner / jungle. Saksa on the Phoenix, paired up with Misery's Lion. And that just leaves Resolution on the safe lane farming Void. What we're going to be seeing here is some early stacking from the Winter Wyvern as much as possible. If you guys haven't seen this combination, they're going to make Swindles tank it up. They're going to have the Cold Embrace, so he doesn't even take damage while he's also spinning his way. And that'll also allow them to get max levels and farm up an Ancient stack, which is going to be done by Hanskin's Wisp.
I do like this style from Complexity. Although, didn't they do Ancients last time with this?
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Because the Wisp is going to
Okay.
stack it.
Hanskin's
Never
got
listen to me.
I just looked over and I didn't see them, and then all of a sudden I did. This is pretty greedy from them though, and it's primarily working because the new offlane is just faster to farm the jungle, so Beastmaster doesn't even bother going up here. Like Chessie's not even bothering the lane control.
Yeah.
But that's gonna force Misery to come up here, and this is very good for him. He's gonna pick up his second level here, maybe even get 2.5.
Do you think it was that they got the ward down, actually blocking the pull, which is why Chessie actually can't bring the lane back? So was that a misplay from Chessie? Was that laziness? He's like, no one's going to be here. I might as well push out the lane. And as a result, Misery's going to get a lot here, sitting as an offlane Lion.
I think it's a slight misplay, because Chessie knows like there's no kill potential on this Lion, and Misery knows that very well. He's thinking to himself, wow, I just picked up a bunch of free levels. The supports aren't going to do anything but stack. This is a very passive support game. Like, this game is one that'll happen in a hurry. Like, all of a sudden things will heat up.
Right.
But for the duration of this game so far, DC can play as greedy as they want because of what's going on over here.
Yeah, the old Swindles and Z-Freak double jungle with the Winter Wyvern and the axe.
That's a 3-stack jungle. Gonna be 4 here in a second.
And once they farm this a little bit, then they'll have the Ancients to be able to go through. Now, you said this game is going to happen in a hurry. It's going to be coming all down to the blink daggers, right, of Complexity. Limp, I'm presuming he gets one here. Oh, the attempted to toss back. Weehot disguises himself inside the creep wave. And fortunately for him, Limp wasn't able to get the correct toss back. But it all comes down to the blink daggers, right? One for Limp, one for Swindles. That's when the game really starts heating up.
Yeah, they're kind of banking a lot on this right now because this is such a greedy combination from them. Like it's pretty hard for DC to fight against more than anything. Like DC can't really punish this early on, so what they're trying to do is outgreed them. Like, Misery's gonna grab a very fast level 6 on a Lion. He's already level 4. Soxa's pulling and stacking at bottom. He's getting a pretty good amount of levels. Moves a little bit further behind than you would like to see, but ultimately that'll be okay. Complexity is definitely winning the greed war right now.
Yeah.
Like, once they get the Vanguard on Swindles, they're going to go for this stack themselves. That's 5 stack now.
Yeah, 54 CS on Swindles by 4 minutes. This is the power of this duo. Nice deny on the rune. Trying to get greedy there and actually get a right click onto Weehaw as well. Won't be able to get that much, but still denying the bounty. Away from the Death Prophet is still pretty happy. Now, our off lane is completely open for Digital Chaos as well, which means that they are actually going to try and pressure it. They know the Axe isn't going to move out of his jungle, and the supports are completely occupied. So unlike Complexity, who are punished for their push out of the lane, Complexity won't really be able to do the same, and Resolution could take a very early tier 1 tower.
Yeah. This is kind of what you expect, though, especially since you are picking this greedy. It's become like a who can be greedier in this span of time. And right now, DC is in a very good spot, as Resolution's going to go for this bottom tower, misses the last hit, unfortunately, but still decent chunk of change early on. And what's really going to upset the balance of things is this huge Ancient stack.
Yeah, I'm just going to switch over to net worth right now because there is not much point in following anything else. These metrics of CS are going to be rather lopsided and not really identify how far ahead
Swindle's getting into the center.
It's right into the center of things. Has the cold embrace eventually to be able to use.
Not
Swindle's
spinning
healing
very
up.
much, though.
Yeah, not really clearing through this as quickly as he hoped.
And there's a full rotation from DC. This is really smart of them to try and contest this because this is such a linchpin.
Free kill on Z-Freak. Rotation over from Hanskin, trying to keep Z-Freak alive here, but he doesn't have the cold embrace because they used it earlier. Z-Freak does end up going down for the first blood, but they got the avalanche stun, stopping Soxa's Icarus dive. Meanwhile, some of the last hits are being taken by Digital Chaos, but they just don't have the kind of team to fully take this Ancient stack. They only got a couple of them, plus that first blood. Now they're actually going to try and beat up Weehop, but the Primal Roar goes down. Looks like Hanskin may just get caught here. Resolution comes in from the back, gets Hanskin. They're going to try and nail Weehop here. The toss goes forward, but it doesn't hit Weehop, and instead catches Swindles. So that means the Sunstrike misses, and now both of the members of Complexity are going to try and run themselves out of here, but they're just not going to make it. One at least. Swindles may still have a chance. Z-Freak, he's looking for the opportunity. Swindles is super tanky with this Vanguard, and now he's going to get a lot of damage. In fact, he still has the ultimate ready to go. If he brings Resolution just a little bit lower, Time Walk, not quite up. They get a little more damage from the Wisp Balls, maybe. They see Resolution. He jumps over to the side. He's low enough. They can get the Calling Blade, and they've got him. They get a counter kill. Finally, they get something out of all of that, but meanwhile, in the top lane, we're going to see Mimu come up here with a double disables. They might just be able to get the kill. They don't have the Primal Roar, but they have the Finger of Death. The burst damage comes through, and even as DC lose one, they still pick up another. Now the Limp, he's going to be able to get the turnaround, and you said it's all going to happen in a rush, Blitzstoda, and it's happening even faster than we expected.
Yeah, and Sox is doing a really smart thing right here. You notice he's right here. He's soaking so much of this XP. They're just kind of giving him almost his free level 6 right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's in range of all of this, but we're definitely seeing like half of the stack. Some of the lower creeps are definitely going into his experience range. And we'll see about all these dragons. Yeah,
he's getting it.
All of it. Whew.
That split XP 3 ways. It's very good for Soxa right there to do that move. And although this Axe is quite far ahead now, and he's going to grab his Blink Dagger very quickly, and that's going to be the timing that Complexity needs to take a fight. You noticed in that huge engagement up the bottom, if they had just had that Blink Dagger or any form of initiation, they would have gotten so many more kills.
Yeah.
But instead, they were just kind of stuck trying to chase people. Not the best situation to be in against a team that features so many escapes. Sox is trying to grab his level 6, a very crucial one if you're going to fight around this Void Chronosphere.
Yeah. Obviously, the combination Supernova with any big AoE disable kind of ensures that team fights are going to be won. The smoke up from Complexity here. I'm not entirely sure what they plan to do without an actual Blink Dagger for the Axe, but they're just going to put the Axe now in the bottom lane against Resolution. And I'm not even sure if it's going to be worth DC even trying to kill him. Instead, they're backing up Weehaw right now in the mid lane. Looks like he's going to pop the ultimate here. He had an Arcane Rune, so they want to make use of this. Pop the early exorcism and take this tier 1 tower. And it looks like they'll catch Z-Freak as well. Moo comes in for the river. Will be able to barely get the Primal Roar, but it's good enough to get a kill. And now turn back for that tier 1.
They might lose this top tier 1. Actually, it's pretty full health right now, so no real trades are going to happen. Axe is still trying to make his way to the Blink Dagger. Unfortunately for Complexity, they're not going to take this fight without grabbing this Blink. They're going to allow all of these side towers to fall down and just hope that they can stem the tide.
That should be the last tower they let go. Unless Swindles gets picked off and his Blink Dagger is delayed here, but kind of doubt it. He should have it for the next fight, and that will open things up for Complexity to be able to contest. Limp, his Blink Dagger still significantly slowed down. He's sitting on only 1,300 gold. Chessie, looks like he got the hand of Midas in fair timing. The Finger of Death, I'm not sure how much it slowed down the Midas timing, but
a little bit, but it's more just the Lion getting a good amount of farm now because of everything that's happened. Like, this Lion is only 1,000 net worth off this tiny. Kind of absurd at 10 minutes into the game.
10-minute rune, Saxa. If you want this one, you're going to have to go for the Icarus dive. That would be dangerous. You could just get called up, and there it is. Let's take it away. 10-minute. We already had something wrong. Most kills goes to Saxa with 2.
Don't worry, man. Things haven't heated up yet.
No. That was by 10 minutes. There's no way.
Oh, we lost?
Yeah, we lost already. We lost.
What? How are we ever going to... All right, whatever. Move on.
I just like to keep you humble, Blitz. I like being able to prove out when you're wrong.
Dude, predictions are... These random predictions are going to do that.
That's true.
When something like falls from the sky and like conks me on the head, that's when I'll know that I've done something wrong. That's karma. I believe in karma.
All right, well, we'll see if Complexity can get any karma going their way. They're going to go for the 4-man rotation here at the top lane. They know DC want to be able to take out all the outer towers, but Cole are finally ready, but Vision is up, and the Jig is also up. Digital Chaos will back themselves away, not get caught, and are only going to fight unless it's actually on their terms. They might just be able to get in. Swindles is going to be slowed down here. The rest of the team will be following Weehaw. Weehaw's really far ahead, but it seems like his innate tankiness will be enough to deter Complexity from an initiation. Now, Chessie is actually going for this bottom tier 1 tower, so Complexity can give this one away if they really want to, and just make it a 1-for-1 trade. And it seems like that will be the case as Swindles blinks himself backwards, and our Tiny combo pushes for mid.
I don't think this top tower is worth defending unless they're ready as 5. And it looks like now they're going to make the move forward. DC,
Swindles.
they're going to be prepared for this fight,
He's by himself, and DC are going to start wrapping around. The TP start coming in. Swindles already down to half HP as the percentage-based damage comes into play. They cancel a couple of those TPs. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, Hanskin's trying to get away. Z-Freak certainly not making it out. The Cold Embrace is only going to delay his death on the left-hand side. Relocate out. Misery is successful, but this leaves Limp alone, or maybe it's alone with Misery. Oh, he couldn't quite finish him off, and now their Finger of Death is ready to go. Misery's going to be able to get himself away. The TP and Primal Roar. It stops it. They keep the Finger of Death in their hold, and I cannot believe Complexity tried to fight that one after splitting up so much. Now the bottom lane, Resolution. He still has a Chronosphere. He leads things off with the Bash. Doesn't go for the Chrono, though. Knows that his damage by himself is not nearly going to be enough to beat the Invoker.
I am so surprised. We had just said, I was like, oh, Cole's not going to defend this. It's not a good spot for them to defend. They know that that Phoenix Egg Faceless Void Chrono combination is up. DC won that fight without even having to pop those two major abilities in tandem with each other. Like the egg went down, but it wasn't even an efficient egg, and they still won the fight. That's the position that Complexity are in because they have to dodge. Chessie can't fight right now.
Yeah.
He's not in fighting shape either. He didn't have TP up. He couldn't make his way up there. Like Hanskin had to leave, or I don't think he had to leave Limp behind. Like Limp, I think, was just trying to get that kill on that line, but and they were in such a good spot, and all of a sudden they kind of throw things back the other way, and now the net worth and XP go in the way of DC as a result. Like that top tier 1 tower is eventually going to go down, Cap. There's not a whole lot that Cole can do about it, and you're okay with that because it's that tower in the greater context of the game doesn't mean anything.
Radiant structures are fortified.
So Complexity got to clean up their game a little bit if they want to be able to hold strong here and make the reverse sweep against Digital Chaos after starting this series 0-2. 7-3. Still a big net worth lead for Swindles, but this just makes the inevitable death of Swindles all the more juicy for Digital Chaos. Just need to see if they can get their opening. Limp, meanwhile, he did finish up his Blink Dagger during that fight. I think he was able to buy it. And maybe that will allow the next fight to go into their favor. But right now, Cole are going to stay a little bit more patient, play the farming game.
They should. This passive kind of style benefits them greatly. They don't have to rush things like they have been. And unfortunately, DC, they're going to find this smoke opportunity on the Swindles. They get the ward down too. They know he's there. They want to absolutely make sure that they get this kill, and they're going to.
Yeah, they're going to commit almost everything they have. Limp, not going to be able to save him. Actually, blinks out, and Hanskin commits the relocate and doesn't save anybody. Yeah, they're going to go for this one. They can time the stun, which they should be able to, stop the tether out. They're going to start pushing forward. Moo wants to make sure he catches anybody that is a potential tether target, and they get the silence on a Hanskin. Z-Freak's in trouble. The Supernova ensures there's no counterplay from Complexity whatsoever, and Digital Chaos immediately pounce on that moment of weakness, push it for more, and will even take an objective as this Tier 2 falls.
They can go high ground with this.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
very well played by Moo. He had that hawk forward, so they spotted all of that. And Complexity, they're just getting a little bit sloppier than they need to. Like, leaving the Wisp to die is perfectly fine, but you need that Winter Wyvern alive to Splinter Blast for this, to slow down the push, but them losing an objective this early on,
Limp,
gonna
he
be
wanted
great.
to go for the toss
Oh,
back
there's the
there.
chrono.
Now there's no save. Swindles managed to get the call with the Blade Mail. He's actually bringing all of them so low. The Hex is actually not going to be the saving grace, as looks like our Death Prophet will go down to just the damage of the Axe
They need to
spin.
get a lot.
Now Limp comes back. He bought back, fully committing for this one. They need as many kills as possible. And Moo, he's dead to rights, but they don't get anything else. Everyone else was able to escape. The supports TP'd out, and Resolution time walked his way out of there.
that Blade Mail call absolutely destroyed that Death Prophet. All of our ghosts started to target him. The ghost, of course, dealing damage to the Death Prophet when she attacks with them. Onto that axe, a mechanic I find very weird and funny.
Yeah.
They weren't able to get anything else though, and Limp had to commit the buyback for that as well.
He time walked there, and now they're actually going to be able to potential. Oh my God, Resolution! I think he was very dead if that call manages to stop the time walk, but it doesn't happen. And now Digital Chaos, just like the last time they saw an opening like this, they're immediately going to go and try and contest this relocate back. Hanskin silence up. The Winter Scar's going to be able to stall things up, and Complexity look for the full retreat. Swindles at half HP. Even looking to potentially turn here, as now the Tiny comes in with his double damage. They want to be able to pop Weehaw. They want to be able to find that quick opening, that quick kill while the Lion is dead. But they're not going to be able to get it. Digital Chaos are now going to be the ones suffering a loss of an objective.
That's very well done by Complexity. Trying to make things happen around the map. They're trying to play for the win. They understand that they are a little bit behind in this game, and they've got to actively make plays. But DC, their team fight is still very scary, but at the same time, they're not farming a lot. Like this Invoker, during this entire time, Chessie's like, I'm just going to farm while you guys are doing all this 5-man stuff. And that's naturally going to put you behind in terms of net worth and XP. So Chessie being a saving grace here for them. And on top of that, Swindles has been very farmed this entire game. His initiation onto that Death Prophet in that mid lane just completely cleaned up that fight. This game's still pretty even. Like nobody has too big of an advantage either way. It's just that Cole, you're disappointed because those 2 fights.
That was a close one. First spike, it was there. It was in range, but it was half a second too late to stop the TP out from Z-Freak. Good reactions by Z-Freak. As soon as the Phoenix dove on him, he got out. Now the smoke up from DC. They forced the Winter Wyvern back. They see Heroes top. I think with this Exorcism, or we're sorry, with this Arcane Rune, they're going to try and Exorcism and go for Roche. And Complexity, they're just not in a position to defend. They obviously have the relocate play, but that would require the other 3 to be in a position. They're going to smoke up now, but it's far too late.
I think if they make their way down there, they know that this Exorcism is going to be on cooldown. If they could time things correctly, they could probably still take the fight.
Yeah, catch DC as they push out of the pit, as Exorcism comes back, and at that point in time, it won't even matter if
they're going to get the high ground. This is very smart from DC, or from Complexity. If they can find an angle, like if they can get resolution right here.
Swindles. Oh, he's going to be able to get the catch on the resolution. Can they get the burst damage? They got him. They get the relocate in. Now Weehaw starts going in with the Spirit Siphon. They get the toss back. Complexity start backing away, looking to be able to kite Weehaw as best as possible. The dive goes out. Soxa looking for more. Meanwhile, deeper in, they manage to get the blink in and take out the big disabler of the Lion, and they get the Winter's Curse on Weehaw as well. Swindles a little bit low, but now Limp's going to be able to get the 2-man stun. Swindles holding, reinitiating, getting the blink dagger, and manage to take out the Death Prophet. Yes, the Supernova exploded, and Soxa's back, but it may not mean much as Limp comes in, immediately takes him out with a toss combination, and Weehaw, without the Exorcism, he may just end up straight up dying. The Spirit Siphon going on to Swindles. Again, percentage-based damage, Cold Embrace. Can he actually eat through it? He barely gets him, but it costs him his life still. And Complexity, they strike back hard. They lose the Roshan, but they find the opening, and now they're going to be the ones taking the Tier 2, a back-and-forth game that just will not stop.
That is so sick. That Complexity made that move. We saw that in real time, and I just couldn't even believe that they read the situation that well. They know that the Death Prophet Exorcism is going to go down. They find the high ground advantage because they know that Cole, or that DC will split up a little bit. So you saw Lion on the southern side of the map. They send Resolution up first because they don't really care about their positioning. They don't think that Complexity is immediately going to look for the fight like that. They figured if they were going to do it, they were going to do it at the Roche pit. But Cole just outmaneuvered the hell out of them. That was so well done by them, washing away the sins of their past failures.
Radiant's top tower is
And they've got a pretty good grasp on this game again.
It's a beautiful way to put it, Blitz. Complexity 100% back in this game. 12 to 10, 20 minutes in. Complexity holding a 2,000 gold lead, 5,000 experience lead. And DC, you talked about how they've got this big team fight. It means a lot of 5-manning. They're not really farming too much. Complexity are growing more and more of a lead, whether it seems like through these individual fights that sometimes Complexity take, or now through these momentary pauses in the game where Complexity naturally able to split up and get a lot more out of the map.
I can't wait for chat to catch up. You know, because they're watching this fight right now. You know, the mid one where DC was pushing up, and I at that moment too, I was like, oh man, Cole are in such a rough spot. They had a buyback on the Tiny. They only got like 2 kills. Then everything just that was a game-winning play. Like that might not win them the game, but it leads you in that direction rather than just sitting back and playing passively and allowing DC to reset after that Aegis. They went for something that would enable them to take the advantages here, because otherwise if DC has Aegis right there, then they just reset the game, wait for the next Exorcism and push out with it. It's very hard for Cole to fight into that.
Another situation where Complexity know that the Exorcism was used. That cost DC so much time there to 5-man and take that tier 2. The whole entire time Complexity are split up. One's pushing bottom, the rest are farming various jungle areas. They know the Exorcism is down, so they take the tier 2 for free still. So it's a trade-off, but they're still being more farm efficient. Complexity are looking good, but there's still the big danger. Doesn't matter if you're farming more efficiently, if you could just win that one big fight, and that's what DC really have the power. They've got the Supernova, they've got the Chronosphere combinations. They just need to be able to find the opening. They need to be able to find the initiation over Swindles.
Oh yeah, that's always going to be in their favor, is that DC has that crucial Egg plus Faceless Void Chrono combination. They just haven't been able to sync it together, because Resolution keeps getting jumped on in the beginning of these fights, making it so that Soxa has to get these inefficient eggs off.
Ooh, man, look at that. Even Hanskin has a Hood of Defiance.
Yeah, this game is okay right now for Complexity. More importantly, they're doing really well in the level department. Their Invoker's 15, he has Ags now. Like, make no mistake about it, this is a very farmed Invoker. And Swindles has made plays all over the map so far. He's kept up in net worth. Even with that early lead, he continues to cascade it, and here's the initiation.
Might just find the initiation. Z-Freak, there's the interruption. Swindles managed to get 2, and Misery will be the first to go down with a Sunstrike. Now the Supernova actually gets laid out. There's the Chronosphere. This is the combination we could see, but Z-Freak, he stops it all with a beautiful Winter's Curse. Now they're comboed up by Lip to toss into the air with the call. Swindles can't quite finish any of them off. Weehaw, right in the middle of all this with the Spirit Siphon. He's healing through all of it, and Swindles, he can't survive. There's too much damage out there. Z-Freak looking to be able to hide himself in the trees and get the TP out. Spotted. Sunstrike. There's the Yule Scepter, stopping Z-Freak from getting away. They'll take 3. And DC, we warned. We warned you. We warned Complexity. They've got the team fight power on Digital Chaos to ensure a win. And one of the big wins of that is not just the fact they got 3, but they still have Exorcism to be able to push high ground.
If they could have bursted Weehaw right there, then they definitively win that team fight. He got so low, but then that Spirit Siphon starts to tick in on top of the Sun.
He's got the tether ready to go. He just needs to get a little space, wait for the time lock, go for the TP out. Resolution confused.
No.
He gets one right click, but it's not a bash. Meanwhile, mid, Swindles. He pops a blade mail. Weehaw dropping low, tries to go for the calling blade. It's not enough. Finger death on chest. They've taken 2. Exorcism out. Go for the tier 3 Complexity. The Tiny's back up. Weehaw's low. Weehaw, careful, friend. You don't want to be too far out there. He's dropping lower and lower, 100 HP. Spirit Siphon's a little bit, but here comes the combination. Weehaw dies just like that, and so does Misery. Limp, he's not going to slow down to get the burst damage. Moon, TP out, he can't make it.
That was the buyback committed onto Swindles as well. DC thought they were in a winning position right there. They decided to continue to go for it, but the Death Prophet was so low with the Tiny respawning. I think he just got a little bit too over-eager. Resolution, of course, being hung out to dry up at top by the Wisp, as Hanskin just outmaneuvered him, and this next Roshan is going to determine so much of the game because Complexity need this. They can't afford another fight without it. DC at the same time,
they have so many good heroes to defend the Roshan pit, right?
Yeah.
They've got huge incentive to fight around that area.
This game just revealed a lot to me right now, just because it makes it very clear who the star of the game is. It's Weehaw. If Cole can burst Weehaw in time, then there goes the majority of DC's damage. Because this Void right now is not that scary.
No.
He doesn't deal that much damage. For the most part, it all just comes down to Weehaw's Spirit Siphon and his ultimates. So for Complexity, it's about killing him. For DC, all in, protect him, use the Sunray, use the Egg, the Chrono, everything, but they might just catch out Chessie here.
Oh, Chessie, you greedy bugger. He'll be caught farming inside of the Radiant Jungle. That was a smoke up from Digital Chaos. 60 seconds. I don't think DC are going to be able to turn this into an objective. Maybe they could get tier 2 at bottom lane. So there won't be any serious high ground push threatening from that pick-off, but you can't afford another one of those.
This is insane that this game is so back and forth right now. At one point I thought that Cole was going to lose for sure. Then all of a sudden they had that sick team fight play. Then DC turned things around by barely keeping Weehaw alive. And this is where you've got to tighten up your play cap, not be so greedy. Game 5 is delivering so hard right now.
Weehaw and Chessie both with the overextensions, costly pickoffs. Here we're going to see Complexity losing in tier 2 because of it. Now Complexity fortunately do have this amazing pusher in the Tiny Easy. Burst down another creep wave, goes straight for the tier 2. He knows he's got the defense of the Wisp. He sees a lot of heroes bottom as well, so he figures this should be a trade-off unless there's mass rotations. Misery's going to be leading things off with a blink backwards. And they get out. Hanskin tethers away to his brother. He's good. And that just means both teams left with absolutely nothing in their hands. Swindles looking around with the invis, not finding much, but if he runs into Moo, they may be able to get the relocate play. They've got him. Sunstrike over the top, bringing him low, and there's the relocate to make sure they finish him off. And that is just around the time that Roshan could be up. We know it's a full minute, so DC will still have their full 5 up in time. Complexity going to be sad about that RNG.
Everything just kind of turns back in its place, one pick off after another. Swindles, though, the net worth advantage that he had, Cap, with that buyback death. He dies, buyback dies, trying to hold that high ground really just pushes him much further back than he would like.
Yeah.
But in a decent position, that Blade Mail's still very effective against that Death Prophet. There's not a whole lot that she can do to survive against it, except pump up her survivability and her HP pool, which is why he went for that Blade Mail, but then swerves back.
I mean,
into
at this
that
point in the
Ocarina.
game, right, it sucks. Like, you had to do that, but at the same time, costly for the axe, but it did give Lymph a lot of kills. And that's the guy you really want to be jumping up in net worth right now, right, is the axe. Once he gets the Blade Mail, there's not too many items that really are going to make him super effective at scaling. Not nearly as much as, like, the Tiny and the Invoker, right?
Yeah. The cool part about this Tiny Whisk combination is that no matter what happens in the game, you'll find a way to win with it. That's kind of always the fallback, and why this combo has always been kind of prevalent in whatever meta, because it opens up opportunities that you previously would not have, because you can go for the split push.
Right. Big team fight winners, big split push opportunities, huge just high ground potential with the Tiny, who has his Aghanims now, still looking towards that AC, which we'll eventually see. That'll speed things up quite a bit for us. Meanwhile, Chessie, he's got level 16. Still need that big level 22, level 23 area where we can have the full Deafening Blast effect. But this hero is still going to be terrible for Digital Chaos to try and push into. But they have to eventually. Otherwise, eventually, you're just going to lose out to Complexity finding an opening, right? That's just the late game advantage of a Tiny Wisp. Longer that this game goes, the more openings there are. Eventually, Complexity will find one of those and exploit it.
Dire side too. I think
Yeah.
DC are okay though. I think the major fight will happen around this Roche Pit area more than anything, because both teams want it so badly. Swindles, you're scaring me. Get out of there.
It's making me a little nervous too. Looks like he's going to be building up Ashivas with the plate mail. Unless Lotus Orb, that be better than Shivas in this game? Normally it's Shivas, right? But there are a number of single target abilities.
Yeah, Lotus sounds kind of okay.
Primal Roar, the Spirit Siphon, as well as Hex and Finger.
Spirit Siphon sounds sick.
Yeah.
Axe with Spirit Siphon on like... Oh.
Yeah, that's actually, yeah. The percentage-based damage have been causing him quite the issues between the Sunray and the Spirit Siphon.
See what Z-Freak's doing? He's pushing in this top lane. He's trying to get somebody to show, while his team will just farm these two camps repeatedly.
Right.
So whenever anybody shows up at that top lane, they're immediately going to go for the push into Roshan, but...
That's why you see DC not actually doing it. They throw
Yeah.
boars up to that top lane to stop the
It's very
incoming
smart.
creep equilibrium, but they don't actually show a hero.
This Roche fight will determine pretty much the direction of this game. If one team can take this fight decisively, that could just mean the end, and Complexity, they don't have the best vision. They should know. They can always check with Sunstrike as well if they're afraid that DC is going for the Roshan of their own, but that would mean that DC have to pop the Exorcism, and I don't think that's something that they want to do without taking a fight first,
Right.
which is why they've gone for the smoke.
Smoke is up for Complexity in just 15 seconds. Digital Chaos. They've been playing this pretty safe. Like that board play, for example, that is a very safe play by them. They knew what was trying to happen there from Complexity. They don't oblige their play. But are they going to continue to hold that kind of conservatism? Because at this point, Roshan's open, but they know if they go into that pit, Complexity could catch them out. And they're not going to. They're going to go for mid first here, but Complexity are lurking not too far away with their 5-man smoke. They're going to work their way through this river area and into the Radiant Jungle, it looks like, with that drawing. They want to try and take this high ground area.
Yeah,
Maybe
neither
catch
team is
Digital
really
Chaos.
willing to risk anything just because of how much is at stake here in this one fight. Oh, he
The
misses
Hawk.
on the Hawk? No, he gets it there.
They'll,
The good news though for Dire, like part of the advantage too is that you can keep farming these ancient camps.
Yeah.
So it's not even like they're getting too far behind with anything. They can keep up their farm efficiency during this entire time period.
They also have the Invoker, which we've talked about. Split push, it doesn't really fit the meta too much. Tiny Wisp, one of the big split pushers, though, and Invoker. That's another one.
Oh, Swindles is gonna get caught!
Oh, no, the Sunray, they managed to get him held in. They're going to pop him almost immediately. Nothing
They
Z-Freak
can't
can
lose
do.
Z-Freak.
Z-Freak.
Get out.
He's got to be able to get out of here, hold on to that Winter's Curse. They still have the potential to interrupt this one. In fact, they even have the buyback of Swindles if they want to commit it to try and stop this Roshan fight, but they would be all in, and it doesn't look like that's what Complexity wants to do here. They're going to try and push in both mid and top. They see the exorcism being used, so this Aegis, while it will go into the hands of DC, they're not going to be able to push high ground right away.
I do not think, Cap, they will fall for the same trick that Complexity did last time.
Yeah.
I think DC just reset. They can play as aggressively as they want because they have this Aegis advantage. They've got a gem picked up, so they can always play the crowd control with the wards and just hem Complexity into their base, which is exactly what they should do with this Aegis until they've got that exorcism back up.
Right. Misery was looking for the pickoff there. Immediately, once mid and top start being addressed by Digital Chaos, they start pushing out that bottom lane, see if they can just keep the creep equilibrium in their favor, that they never have to deal with a high ground push with Aegis coming out. But you kind of described exactly how Digital Chaos are going to play this one, how they're going
just
to...
be patient.
Yeah.
There's no reason to risk it.
Patiently push all the lanes in and take some control.
Yeah, this game is so scary now for Complexity. Like, that Roshan area was so crucial for them, but Swindle's got a little bit greedy
wants to
there.
make the play. Oh, no! What was that? Chronosphere, that's going to whiff on Chessie as well as D-Freak as they manage to get the blink away, but Swindles, it looks like he may just be dying again here. Another Finger of Death laid out. The Blade Mail a bit too late. Now the Winter's Curse goes down, but that's not going to be doing much. D-Freak will be able to get the blink backwards, but it lost him his ultimate. And Complexity, oh my god, 2 times in a row. Swindles, he chokes just like that, gets caught the first time, misses the initiation the second time, and now Digital Chaos are going to be knocking on the Complexity front door with no
fair,
tier 3 left.
He also put them in so many winning positions.
Yeah.
But those last two mess ups are really going to cost them. Like, the first one costs you Roche, the second one loses you the Axe and further succeeds more control.
Yeah.
And that probably would have been the Void's Aegis if they could have gotten that initiation. I'm not sure that was a fight that they wanted to commit to anyways, to be honest with you, not to try to make
because there's the
excuses
blink
for
on the
anything.
Void, right? Like, he comes back second life, he catches you.
Everybody from DC was there as well. Like, they were not that far behind.
Yeah. DC, I thought they were going to go high ground right away, but I wasn't paying attention to Chessie. He was pushing out the bottom lane, I believe. So they sent Misery back, dealt with that one. They are trying to do exactly what we were talking about, not get too over anxious, slow the game down, keep the lanes pushed in as much as possible before you finally go for that high ground push, because the last thing you want to do is, when you have an advantage like this, is leave one of your side lanes open for Complexity to be able to trade racks for racks. Now Misery, he's looking for a pickoff. He managed to get the wards up. He sees Z-Freak. Z-Freak sees him, though, and he blinks himself backwards.
It's still a very close game. Probably the closest one we've had to the series. Thankfully for us and the viewers, it's going to be the Game 5. Net worth is still slightly in favor of Complexity, as is experience, but that could have been a much bigger lead potentially. And now everything just has to reset. They're just trying to hold on until this Aegis expires. There's 2 minutes on it. I think this is going to mean DC should start making an aggressive maneuver towards this mid lane. But they want to first push out all the lanes because we already talked about this Wisp Tiny can still win you the game.
There they go. Bottom lane being pushed out. Are they going to address it at all? Or are they just going to go for the high ground push? It looks like they're setting up for the high ground push. They need the Death Prophet to come across, though, before they actually go for this one. And this slight delay may actually cost them something. Chessie, he's just going to keep going. He knows the danger that they're in. He has to take a risk here. He knows there's a possibility there could be some sort of smoke back. He only sees one in mid. But now they realize Resolution. He's pushing high ground. He knows. He sees the opportunity to be able to take this range ranks. Complexity, no, the whole entire team is behind him. They're going to toss him back. See if they can get the combo. Oh, there it is. Right underneath that tier 4 tower. And now can they control him further? Sunstrike gonna land. BKB popped. He managed to get off the Chronosphere onto 2. Limp, the save. Winter's Curse onto Weehaw, bringing him low. Chessie's going for it. He's gonna be able to get the right clicks down. Now the Supernova. They get the Hex onto Swindles. Chessie's stunned up. He's not gonna be able to stop that Supernova. The explosion goes down, but Swindles, he's saved by the Cold Embrace. 2-man stun. They need to be able to get out of here. Soxa gets the Icarus dive away. But Limp, he knows there's blood in the water. They're sniffing it out. They're trying to find more, but the TPs, they're successful. All of Digital Chaos get away. They lose Weehaw. They lose the Aegis. What a sick play from Complexity. The dunk from Lip, the alley-oop straight into Swindle Melons, who's able to finish him off with the call underneath the Tier 4 towers.
On top of that, that winner's curse on a Weehaw by Z-Freak was so heads up. Unbelievable by Complexity. Z-Freak played that fight so well. That winner's curse onto that Death Prophet, completely turning things around for them. Wasn't able to get anything off during that duration. Immediately just had like 200 HP, then Swindles goes in. I don't know how Complexity cobbled that team fight idea into their heads. And they had to do it instantly too. That's not something that you get to plan because they were immediately at their doorstep, right? They just walked in. Then Complexity had to be like, okay guys, here's how we're going to take this fight. Let's just try it. It somehow ends up working. They win the fight pretty definitively too. And all of a sudden their net worth lead goes down the other way. Experience is way in their favor. Now Chessie is so farmed. Like this Midas is really starting to pay off. The rest of the course from DC, we not in the position that he once was. Lost a fair bit of gold there.
Yeah, he is.
I can't even believe that
suffering.
fight happened. This game is... I don't know how Complexity's doing it, but...
They are certainly doing it. They're holding on to this game. Chessie.
Yeah. But Tiny and Invoker are getting really big.
Yeah.
It's not even like they're holding on to this game, it's they're repelling DC and just frustrating them.
DC, they're rapidly getting into a make or break moment. They get this scan, successful. Complexity not going to be getting anywhere near this mid lane. They know the danger. Chessie, he's going to back up. They're feeling pretty good about their high ground defense. They did it last time against an Aegis. They can certainly do it again. So they're not going to take any risks with split pushing and potentially getting picked off. DC. Now they're the ones who have to get a little bit more sneaky. They're going to cut their wave at bottom, trying to control this push from bottom lane without actually sending anyone back. Octarine Core committed by Weehaw, knowing that buybacks really aren't going to save them here. It's going to be that all-in push up into the high ground that is their only path to victory, and he's got to make sure he's got every item in the book to be able to give them an advantage.
Yeah, they're going to go try to scout things out. They're making an aggressive move. They understand that going for the high ground still quite dangerous, dealing with the BKB up on resolution. This bottom lane being pushed out as well. Misery frantically just drawing a line here and saying, guys, we have to immediately defend this before we do anything. And this is just going to further delay things. And now Complexity, they're just going to frustrate DC. They can wait for the next Aegis because there's so much pressure going on into these side lanes. And all the while, they're farming. DC are always together as 5. Complexity are splitting like crazy. And they're just getting more efficiency on the map. 4,000 net worth, 7,500, going to 10k XP. Everything swinging in their favor right now.
It's been a rather insane series so far. If you're just now joining us, this is game number 5 of Digital Chaos versus Complexities. You could probably see on the scoreboard, but what you don't know is the storyline. Game 1 and 2, stomps. Respectfully, they were stomps. Digital Chaos took Complexity. They manhandled them in the first 2 games, and then something clicked. Complexity, they got aggressive game 3. Now we're going to see the result of game 5. The jump in, Z-Freak, he's going to be first one. He's going to be popped almost instantaneously, but the initiation simultaneously takes out the Phoenix. 1 for 1, resolution, BKBs all around. The Primal Roar goes down on Limp. A relocate about to fade here, and a pause goes out. Oh no, the wrong
Misery
time
is so
for lag
frustrated.
on Complexity. Oh, they've got to be able to have the opportunity. They have the relocate.
Look at how far we is.
He is so far away.
He's not going to be able to make it to this fight. They've popped most of their major abilities. The BKB's on cooldown. The Chrono's been committed as well. They've already lost their Phoenix, and Misery's also used the Finger. There's only... I mean, Resolution's at full HP, but that's about it. They've got to cut their losses here, I think. Roar's been used as well.
Yeah.
And Weehaw is so far away. Like, there's no way he's going to make the fight in time. Unfortunately for... I don't even think Swindles really has to apologize for this.
If anything, it's good for DC, right? They realize they're in a bad position. And,
Yeah,
for
they've gotta
example,
reset this
Chessie
fight.
or Resolution, he may be able to get the instant blink away. No.
I think they...
Holds. He starts going on to
Chessie
Chessie.
is stuck.
Chessie. Uh-oh. Chessie. He's got the blink. Yeah, actually, they're going to be able to catch Misery. Looks like they should be able to run him down. Glimmer Cape gets a little space. See if he can actually get out of this one. The Battle Hunger's taking him away, and it's just so hard. Meanwhile, Chessie, he managed to catch Moo. Moo just trying to buy time with the blink dagger. He's got it up. Stays ahead of Swindles. gets one step ahead of Complexity, will save his life. And, oh god, a little bit of lag on our side. Sweet Jesus, no.
I think Complexity just go for the Roshan right now.
Yeah. Oh, look at that, the Sunstrike. Yeah, it wouldn't have finished the move off, but the fact that he was even close to scouting him out. Impressive awareness there from Chessie. Complexity not actually going to go for the Roshan pit here. They're going to go for the tier 2. I can't imagine they're going high ground.
Yeah, they should start heading back for the Roshan right now. They're going to scout that it's up. DC are in no shape to defend that for at least 20 seconds while Misery's down. And they're going to do it very quickly. Limp with this Echo Saber deals so much damage. What a game this has been so far. Aegis and Cheese is going to pop out. They're not even going to wait for Misery. I think they understand they can't afford to give this.
They've got the pick. Swindles. The big initiator. He's going to be held in. They don't have the immediate damage. Sunray starts coming in. Hanskin waiting. He's deciding whether or not he needs to do the relocate. The Tornado's going to be able to intercept. Now he goes for the relocate, instantly taking him out. The BKB activated by Resolution in time, stopping the stuns of Limp. Now the three-man Chronosphere. Weehaw, he's going to be able to get so much. They get the stun on Swindles as well. He can't get the call. Weehaw's outputting so much damage to the Spirit Siphon. He's already taken 2 down. Here comes a refresher. Chessie realizes he can't do jack. He's got to just get himself out of here. Moo looking for some sort of block here. Z-Freak. He'll be okay as well. Digital Chaos, they take 3. They're going to get Roshan in their hands as well. It costs them Exorcism. Can they still push high ground, though? These heroes down, can they still force buyback?
I think they should at least force buyback right now. Don't overcommit, just poke. See what you can do with it. They've got Aegis and Cheese in their possession. There's no reason to risk the game any more than there already has been, but this game is boiling down to just these key plays. Resolution able to get that 3-man chrono off. They finally pair it with the egg. Weehaw outputs so much damage. Spirit Siphon interrupted. Limp was already at half HP when they took that fight. Complexity did not think they were going to take that engagement without their Lion readily available. Swindles was trying to scout out. He didn't even go down immediately, too.
Yeah. It was only until Resolution found that 3-man Chronosphere. And part of that was off of him being able to successfully get the BKB off when Limp tried to initiate on him as the Tiny.
Who's going to win the Pendulum fights next? Every single time I think a team has an advantage, they win a team fight, then they lose the subsequent one. That's actually been the story of this game so far. Complexity, though, they're going to play for the win.
Well, if we hold that storyline, this means that Complexity are going to win the next one. 5-man smokes on both sides.
There's no way they can do that. How do you even win this fight? Hawk's going to spawn nothing?
Yeah, they're going to be kind of stuck here. They run
They're both
into
just
the
going to pass.
jungle. But DC are in the position where they can go for a quick push and catch Complexity a little bit out of position. But they find that dangerous.
They don't have TP on like half their heroes. There's no TP up on their Winter Wyvern. They're Tiny. I guess the Tiny can get teleported back, so it's not that big of a deal. They're going to spot DC mid now. They might have this wraparound opportunity.
Digital Chaos. Maybe showing too much. Top and bottom are pushing out, though. Complexity. Got to be able to deal with the creep wave. And they know there's probably too many heroes sitting in mid. There's no way that either one of these teams is splitting up. There are no free opportunities. And just like that, Resolution, he might have spotted a free opportunity to get a little damage on this tier 3. Blinks in, swipes it a couple times, and now waits for Weehaw to do some more damage. Tornado lands. No follow-up just yet. Z-Freak. His ultimate saved one fight for Complexity. Can it save another one? As the tier 3 falls, Digital Chaos.
Where's the miracle hold? We've seen it twice now from Complexity. Is it too much to ask for a third?
Chessie tanking it up with the Forge Spirits. Weehaw starts with the Exorcism. Now it's up to Complexity. They lead the way. Weehaw almost being taken out, but now the Chronosphere. Saksa also held in. That means Chessie, he can get all the damage he wants. They managed to get the save. Weehaw is going to be controlled up by the Winter's Curse. Z-Freak blown up on the side, but he managed to get the Winter's Curse off already. Can his team persevere on through? Moon not going to be taken down so lightly. The combination isn't quite enough, and now Limp is going to be chased away by Weehaw, who's quite healthy and has the Exorcism freely roaming. Now Complexity, they see the opening. His Exorcism is about to fade out. The Tornado catches 2 in the background while Weehaw's the target. The Blade Mail starts ripping through him. The Yule Scepter goes down. The Spirit Siphon starts healing him, and he goes right back up to full. Misery dies on the side. Weehaw just hoping to be able to finish off this melee Rax. He'll have to commit his life for it if he really wasn't. Maybe not. He got two. Resolution comes in big with the damage, and now Limp has to fight through while his teammates go for the buyback. Complexity, they need to catch more. Swindles, he's going to make sure that Weehaw has no escape. In fact, the rest of the team's going to make sure that's the case. Saksa, he's going to be the extra kill potentially. Swindles catches him, gets the extra cherry on top as he chased him down. Culling play, not enough there.
He's got
Meanwhile,
cheese too.
Weehaw's definitely going to go down. Saksa will hold on to the cheese, it seems, as Swindles will be able to finish him off. And finally, our Death Prophet goes down a second time. But that is a full lane of Rax. The last time the Digital Chaos pushed high ground, they forced some buybacks. They only got the ranged Rax in mid. This time around, a big objective win at top.
They lost their Death Prophet, they lost their two supports, but at the same time, you forced the buyback onto that Invoker. Not too bad of a trade, as DC are going to take a pretty heavy lead in most of the major categories. And Complexity, they're going to start pushing out now. There's 53 seconds on the clock for this Death Prophet to respawn. I think this is going to be enough for them to prompt and at least poke a little bit, see if they can find any sort of initiation. Weehaw does have that Exorcism up available, though, courtesy of that Octarine Core. But Complexity, they want to make the moves. They've done it all game. There's no Aegis available.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Starting eating away at it. Tier 3. They're not going to be nearly as slow as Digital Chaos when it came to chipping away at those towers. Limp will start beating it to a pulp with this Aghanims plus the Alacrity. He goes straight for the melee Rax. He'll be able to get that one. Now the initiation. Limp in some trouble. Hanskin holding off on the relocate. Resolution was hoping to be able to get the Chronosphere. Instant relocate out. They save Limp's life, and they may just give up their Wisp in exchange for the mid lane
for
Rax.
that is fine. That's a melee Rax. They didn't have to commit too much. They're most likely going to lose this Wisp. Tries to go for the TP play.
Not going to happen. Doesn't quite get the timing. Loses his life, but he's got buyback, and as you said, well worth the price of a melee and range or melee Rax at mid.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. But DC, they're on the offensive again. They didn't have to commit any of their major cooldowns. They know that Chessie is in a position without buyback either. DC, they didn't have to commit any of their buybacks. Just lost one melee Rax. I think they're okay with that.
And if you're Complexity, do you keep trying to force a fight outside the base?
I think if you're Complexity now, you hold high ground. That move was mainly made to poke. Like you're gonna see what DC is willing to commit. When they weren't willing to commit the buyback and do some play with like the Chrono or anything like that, I think that kind of signaled to them, okay, we're gonna take this free Rax, we'll get out after that point. But you're still in a position, if Chessie dies once, that could just be the game. And I don't think they really want to put their fate into that.
Same goes with Swindles. Honestly, it feels like his Blade Mail damage is a necessity versus this Death Prophet. And he's another one without buyback for another 4 minutes. Digital Chaos, they know this. They'd love to be able to push high ground with nothing to worry about and no buybacks of Complexity to really fear. So they start grouping up at bottom, having Resolution once again lead the way and open the door for Weehaw to walk through with all his damage from this Death Prophet.
Look at the amount of farm that Saksa has too with this Phoenix. Really starting to come into play with that Midas. Has the Shiva's Guard and the Aghanim Scepter completed. Now they're going to start sieging at this bottom lane. Weehaw's got this Arcane Rune plus the Octarine Core. I think he really wants to use this Exorcism. It's going to be on cooldown for a little bit longer than a minute.
Yeah, the downtime
running out of time, though. Oh, he's going to pop it now.
40 seconds. Limp. Ooh, there goes the Yule Scepter. They thought they were going to go for the Primal Roar. The silence goes out. Now the Primal Roar is there. They throw the Lotus Orb and will be able to get the relocate back out. Now this is an opening for Weehaw to go high ground with his Exorcism while the Tiny makes his way back. Tiny blinks in, goes straight for Weehaw, picks him up, throws him back down, brings him down to about half health. The Deafening Blast not in time. The Chronosphere locks in 2. Zephyri's going to go down. No ulti to be able to save them this time. Swindles, the target of Finger of Death, not quite enough to bring him down. Weehaw still very healthy, and there goes the Supernova. They have to back themselves up. The explosion goes down, catches Chessie. They're going to be able to get the stun. The two-man stun actually coming out from Limp, stopping the progression onto Chessie and chases the heroes away. Now Weehaw, without the exorcism, is on the front lines and may just get beaten to a pulp. Resolution blinks on Chessie, tries to go for him, but Limp, he's dealing with the Spirit Siphon. The Cold Embrace comes in just in time. Hanskin, he needs to be able to save Limp's life. He's going to be the target instead. His move goes for the right clicks, but DC, they've realized they've run out of steam and they need to get out of here. But Weehaw, he's going to be the one caught at least. Complexity, they're going to look for more now. What can they get? They blink forward. Chessie, definitely blast on out. Move, tossed up high, down hard. They take down the Beastmaster. Digital Chaos unable to break Complexity just yet, but they've gotten them close to the brink.
Yeah, they've taken out that tier 4 tower mid. All of the outer towers are almost gone now. Only one tower remaining in the game total for Complexity. EC weren't able to deal the finishing blow, and Tiny's going to make his way down mid now. The big thing here is that Limp didn't have to commit the buyback, and sooner you're going to have this buyback available on the Invoker. Just 1 minute to go. Axe is going to be in a similar position. This next fight is probably going to be determined heavily by this Roshan. I doubt DC buys back for this, as Limp is just going to take this Rax down for free. Hanskin's here just in case. They're even going to pressure this bottom lane. Might be a little bit greedy.
They're feeling pretty confident. They've gotten the right relocates every single time, and they're going to need another one here. The Force Staff comes out, the relocate save. Resolution looks for it, gets it. Chronosphere caught Chessie, but can they save him? The Winter's Curse managed to catching Moo. Chessie needs a little bit of space to be able to blink himself out, gets the Deafening Blast, he's got it. Now another Chronosphere, locking in Limp. They've got Hanskin as well, and the BKB activated, but the Cold Embrace, it's saving Limp's life. Hanskin, he's going to be able to get himself away. Limp fighting on out. They get the misery away with his Finger of Death and still intact. There's a huge burst of damage still ready to go. They need to be able to catch. Finger of Death goes out. Hanskin laughs it off. He gets away.
Such a huge win for Complexity right there. They don't really lose anything. They beat down the tower. They forced the buyback out of the Beastmaster too, and now they're in the advantageous position. They've got the buybacks available on their cores. Limp has never had to use it. He's 6-slotted. Does way too much damage right now, and DC doesn't have their Exorcism available either, and I think this is just going to prompt Complexity to go for it. The Refresher is still down for the Chronosphere on this Void. This could just mean a second lane of Rax for Complexity. If they play this fast, though, they've got a little bit of a timing window here.
The buybacks now up. Swindles just needs a little bit of gold. Sure, he'll get in the next fight. And Complexity are indeed going to go for that. The final push. Digital Chaos. They thought they had this game. They thought they had it in the bag. Complexity, they turned it away. And now Complexity are the ones just moments away from being able to claim Megas. This lane of Rax going to be the first to go down. Then they can rotate top. Swindles looks for initiation. He gets Weehaw. Chessie going to follow that up with a Deafening Blast. Second Deafening Blast way down. Saksa will be able to survive, but Temp, he's just going straight for Weehaw. Now the roar into Swindles. Both low, down to half HP. Cold Embrace will be able to bring Swindles, potentially get him out of here. No, they leave him behind. They relocate Limp out of there. Chessie on the front line. Swindles, he's still going to go down, but he's got the buyback and he instantly blows it. Complexity, they want that second lane of Rax. They want the final. They want Megas. Those send back. Relocate away. Hanskin actually going to be fine. Nobody picked him off. Moo, he looks for the Primal Roar, but he's not in range. Limp gets to the high ground.
Tier 4 towers, though, on the side of Complexity, going to go down. An Exposed Throne is... What a position that we're in right now. Exposed Throne for Complexity. All their outer towers are now completely gone. Complexity is one set of racks away from getting Megas. Either side just need one little tiny push to win this game. Probably going to go in the form of this next Roshan. It's Complexity.
And it's fully up, too.
Yeah, they've just got to push out this top lane first. They've got the Rax advantage at this bottom lane, so the creep equilibrium is going to be in their favor. And as long as Chessie can just send Forge Spirits up at top, even going to drop the Meteor, should be in a perfectly good position to contest this Roshan, as DC is going to make their way here first.
They may not be fast enough by Complexity pushing out that top lane in order to stop this Rosh attempt from Digital Chaos. They're going to blow the Exorcism for it. But if they can actually take the Aegis and cheese, and it's such a threat on the side of Complexity that they're willing to commit an ultimate here just to be able to keep it out of their hands, and obviously, hopefully into the hands of Weehaw, as he needs that extra life with no buyback for another 4 minutes. Looks like Complexity smoking up here. Are they going for the straight up play? I think they know Roshan, they definitely know now, and they're in the position for it. They've got the double damage on Limp with the Moon Shard. He may just be able to cleave through this
Where's the
tier
damage
3
coming
with
from?
backdoor protection. Be damned. DC make the initiation. The Hex thrown right back in the face of Misery. Now, Same goes with the Primal Roar. Moose stuns himself up just to be able to make sure that Limp doesn't get too far. Hanskin way off in the countryside, waiting for his relocate out. Jump in. Uh-oh, Weehaw almost gets dropped, but the Supernova save, and there's nothing to kill that one. They're going to be able to get that Death Prophet to safety, but Complexity are not going to be punished. The Aegis and Cheese will hold for Digital Chaos with no big swing to Complexity to counterbalance that.
Cole knows there's no Exorcism, and more importantly, there's no Phoenix Egg either. It's only this Chronosphere that they have to contend with, and a large part of that damage came from having this egg. And
BKB activated by Limp. He doesn't care. He goes for the Megas, but now he's controlled up, and there's no relocate to be able to save him. He died and right clicks, and there it is, the Finger of Death. It pops him. They have the buyback, though, for the tiny bit Complexity. They don't want to blow it just yet. DC, now they're the ones on the hunt. They want to be able to find that extra hero kill, and they found it. Yule Scepter on a Z-Freak. The stun up. Glimmer Cape is there, but it's not going to happen. Chain stunned away. Jesse quickly going for the bottom lane push. He doesn't want to have to make Tiny blow his buyback, so he's going to try and keep Digital Chaos scared of that final push straight into the throne.
Hanskin's even going to go for this top push. Just keep the creep wave in as deep as you possibly can. If you can keep Limp from having to use his buyback here, that's a huge win for them. Being able to kill the Tiny twice for DC, I don't even know if that's a reality for them, especially with the Wisp.
Oh, man. All right, there's the Boots of Travel. You got to start picking up those TP items now that we're dealing with all this push in from the side and mid lane. Potential Megas coming up. Saksa, he's had a great game. Those are two very clutch Supernova saves that he's done with the Aghanim so far.
Yeah, imagine if they lose Weehaw there.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the buyback available, did have the Aegis, but I'm fairly certain they can just pop him twice.
Boots of Travel start coming in the mid lane. Digital Chaos, they want to try and go high ground and take this melee Rax before Complexity are up with a Tiny. And if they can force the buybacks and still retreat without getting caught, they'll be perfectly happy, but I doubt Complexity are going to force it. 10 seconds left, they're good.
If Aegis and Cheese isn't going to prompt you to go for the high ground, I think that really... I mean, it just kind of shows that DC isn't certain if they can win the fight anymore. Yeah. At one point, this would have just meant the game for them, but now, after 2 or 3 failed attempts, I think they've learned their lesson. Complexity has repelled them enough times. They've got all their buybacks available, but I don't even think this is worth risking for them. The better move to make is reset, try to get for a pickoff. You've got double chrono available in just 20 seconds. It's worth waiting for it. But that is going to mean Aegis is going to go down in 2 minutes. DC immediately going to make their way mid.
But
they were waiting for the refresher.
There was the ward laid out there. It spotted them.
Cole are going to tuck in.
Yeah. DC, of course, they spot the ward immediately. They take it out, but both sides know. Resolution's just trying to play it as fast as possible, see if he can catch somebody unaware. But no mistakes to be found here. Resolution thinking about it, poking inside the base with this smoke, going deep. There's no tier 4s. They can potentially catch it, and they've got him. Chessie locked in, Finger of Death. They're going to throw everything they have to be able to pop Chessie as quick as possible. Now Limp, he even gets hexed up. Now refresh. BKB activated by Resolution. Looks for another one. Gets another Chronosphere. And it's again locking down Chessie. But his damage dealer's on the side. They don't quite have it. The silence goes out. Toss back into the fountain. Hello, Weehaw. Going to be taking shots from that one. Now the physical damage with the call back in. They eliminate him. That's going to be the Aegis plus the Exorcism down. And no way of escape here for Weehaw. Locked in. Complexity got the combo to hold the base. And DC's initiation fails. He's going to have to send back Saksa. They need everybody to get out of here. There's no buyback on the Death Prophet. They need everyone back at base, but he's not going to be able to make it unless the Blink TP out. Oh, he gets away, but that is still living on a prayer. Digital Chaos have to hold without their Death Prophet, one of their primary damage dealers, and without the big holds of double Chronosphere.
If Cole just go for this right now, they're going to realize Death Prophet doesn't have buyback. This is going to mean Mega Creeps minimum, and if she still doesn't buy back for that Rax, that'll confirm what they already suspect, that there's no buyback available, and we
start smacking away. The Primal Roar leading things off. Resolution, they need to play this fast, and they've almost got him. Limp not going to be saved. The buyback is there. Hanskin couldn't get the relocate, wasn't up, but he's got it now. And he may just send himself back to get the Tiny. Yeah, he's going to TP himself away. They're going to look for it, but the Yule Scepter stopped him. They knew what Hanskin was up to. No crafty plays here. Swindle's trying to counter-initiate, missing the call. Oh, the blowback there, Resolution. Time walk soon, but the Supernova save is there once again. Now Moo looks for an opening. Wants to be able to slow down Z-Freak. They've got him in hold, but Chessie, he's going to intercept. Limp, he's back in play. He's got the boots of travel ready to go. They've got the call on Moo. They're holding him in place. That's going to be a certain death as Digital Chaos try and tuck in once again. They have the buyback and
Chessie.
20 seconds left on the Death Prophet, but inside the base, Chessie has to defend the throne. It's at 1,500 HP.
They're most likely going to get Mega Creeps here, though. Unless DC, they can make the hold. They've got the chrono.
Oh, God, is Limp going to die again? Hanskin looking for the relocate plank. Oh, gets him out. Just like that, but they still don't have Chessie, and Limp is low. Maybe Hanskin didn't get him far enough away. They managed to get the bash. BKB activated. Soxa here with the Supernova ready to go. Hanskin the target. Relocate is going to send him back, and Swindles managed to get the call to intercept. Limp now looking for a fresh initiation on the background, ready to go with his Blink Dagger. Resolution on the hunt. He wants that damn carry, and he wants him dead now, but Hanskin, the support, will be the only kill that DC have found just yet. BKB activated. Resolution finds another. Keeps on pursuing. Complexity. They're frog hopping their way back here. 4 staff, one over the other, but Limp, he's finally going to get caught here. The Cold Embrace goes out. Winter's Curse onto Resolution. Limp, he's trying to dodge his Sunray so he can get a blink out, but there's no hope. He's stuck in the corner. The boards are controlling him. He goes down. He's dead. 2 minutes on the clock. It's Complexity. They need to be able to pick up something, but another round of Supernova, and Swindles, he doesn't have a hope of chopping that egg. Meanwhile, at Throne, Weehaw, he's going for the big plays. He's got the exorcism. He has the Throne. Chessie, he's the only man stopping him between him and the Throne. He's chipping down. A little bit more HP. 250. The glyph goes off. Weehaw dropping lower and lower. Resolution jumps the other side. A little bit more space, and they've got it. Digital Chaos have done it. Game 5 goes their way in Heartbreak City for Complexity Gaming as DC triumph in the best of 5. They are going to the International. They are one of the 16 teams there. And Complexity, nothing but gotta have pride for what they showed here, coming back from the brink and pushing it to the very edge, 0-2 to almost taking it 3-2, but it wasn't enough. We will see them in the wild card series, but they will falter here against Digital Chaos.
Complexity were so just an inch away from winning that game. The Death Prophet doesn't have buyback. They commit to that top push. That would have won them the game, but unfortunately for them, the Tiny, even if he bought back his travels, was on cooldown. Everything was just a little bit off for Complexity. Once they watch this replay and see how close they were to victory, that's going to be where the real heartbreak comes in.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable. I can't believe they held as many times as they did, and DC somehow walked away with the win here, but wow.
NA qualifiers.
This was the most entertaining game I've casted in probably the last year.
Yep. There are no words for what an intense Game 5 this was between Digital Chaos and Complexity. We will still see Complexity at Seattle in the Wild Card Series, but it is Digital Chaos who will take it. Blitz.
Dude, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Whoever lost this game, I was going to just feel terrible for because of how this game went. It was so back and forth. Either team could have won it at multiple points. Complexity, man. Go back to the drawing board. Start prepping for TI. Or at least trying to get your way through the wild card. And Digital Chaos, I mean, they're going to breathe a huge sigh of relief. At the very minimum, they've gained a valuable lesson. Like, playing in a best of 5 like this with so much on the line, that's experience right there that a lot of these members did not have. Like, of course, Misery does, but the rest of this team, still relatively green. Resolution, of course, has been to multiple TIs, but hasn't really finished at the top, and Moo and Sox are going to be newcomers. They needed something like this. And Complexity, at the very least, they showed that they can at least pull things together and come back from a 2-0.
Absolutely. A long road ahead for Complexity as they're going to have to start prepping for TI and making their way out of that very deadly wildcard series. But they've shown us something special here today, and that is something that we'll see more of in Seattle. Digital Chaos, meanwhile, congratulations to the NA Qualifier champions.
Happy times!
Well done by them. DC, nothing but love there. Congratulations. That's it Thank you so much for watching, guys. The North American qualifiers is at an end. We still have the Chinese qualifiers, but that is it for Blitz and myself. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.